Oh, be over on a minute. All right. Okay. Let's come over here and take a look. This guy's not losing it. At least my chat is working again. This. Support. All right. Hope y'all doing all right. Happy 4th of July. Ooh, that's the wrong one. That's right. Hope everybody had a good, enjoyable day. That's the Ooh, got the hiccups. Got the hiccups. That sucks. A little easier to work on this time. I should have my parts that I need in tomorrow at some point. So servo horns and hopefully a couple of adapters that will work with the mini servo. Hopefully, I guess we'll see. We'll see if they get it or not. It was a warm one today. Made pretty much 90. It's supposed to cool back down, possibly rain a little bit this week. We'll see. Fell on the floor last night. I had to grab a different one. have it ready anyways. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Just getting going. Gonna tear this 2-speed out and see why it's so darn stiff going in and out of first gear. Does really nice with second and neutral, but it's really stiff going into first and out of first, and even just back to neutral. Shifting it from first to second, it doesn't want to let out even after backing up once or twice. So it's something in there too tight and needs to get fixed. Or I'm going to burn up a Ryft servo. That's the one I needed to swap out here. Knew I had one wrong with it. Yeah. Move this way. Make it easy. That seems to be the easiest way, other than trying to disassemble the entire cage system. It goes a little faster anyways, I think. Boy, get a couple more Allen heads. Or actually what I need to do is get some better tools. These are okay, but they're not the best. As far as tooling goes, there are better, and you should buy them if you're getting into the system, RC, you know, or are in there and always having problems stripping things out. Those $30, $40 tool sets like this one, they're okay for getting through. You don't want to tighten or loosen with them. You want to use a regular Allen wrench or a high quality wrench. If you're going to have to use a high quality wrench to do your final tightening, whether it's with an Allen wrench or a high end system, you may as well just go ahead and buy the high end system and be done with it. See, these are all right. They work okay for getting through stuff. Oops, that's right. Let me go ahead and take it off from the top. I redid these, but drilled them out yesterday in this cross brace because they were a little stripped out in this front battery cross brace in front of the battery box. So I took a drill bit, and it was the brace itself was a little bent, so I straightened it. Took a drill bit, drilled it through, and then used like two 14 millimeter screws. I think they are two countersunks from the top and two button heads from the bottom, whatever these lengths are there. Now looks like I got a 12 and a 14, maybe. Yeah, 12 and a 14 possibly. And then I got these two on the bottom. That should be all right until I get it off. ball ends are getting a little whopped out. This one's only got a couple bent ones on it anymore. Just these two upper links in the front. They've got bent ends on. The rest of them are all straight already. But I'm going to order some either SSD high-end or some Revo, high-end Revo pieces. Got rod ends to swap out straights. I've got some RC4 drives, straights, and bents, and I threw a bent one, or an angled one, I should say, bent. I used an angled one. Where'd that thing go? I'll find it in there. Okay. Oh, yes. One other thing I did yesterday, I probably knew I should have waited. Zip strips for the whole man kind of stuff in place. Because I knew I'd end up having to take them back off in a day or two when I do the fix. But it was sticking so bad. Worked once or twice, but then it really was sticking really too much earlier. So I figured, well, I'll get dinner done and do some things around the house and then jump into this. Sounds like the works are going off in town. Thanks for having them this year. Usually go over to Bay City. Usually go over and spend 4th with my brother. But the government and Dr. Fucky's got my sister-in-law so freaking freaked out over this COVID shit. The Rona, that hell, I've only seen my brother once in the last year. Oh yes, one more issue there to deal with. That's right. So got to open her up and peel out the steering servo. Actually, I don't have to. I can do it this way. Leave all that crap together. Now wait a minute, I still got the shift servo. Come on. Might not put the shift servo. Okay. So how are you guys doing? I see there's a few people in here and there. Hope everybody's okay, enjoying their 4th if you're in the States. And if you're not, I hope you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon. Or evening, or actually, it might actually be Monday morning if you're not even close to the States. Depending on where you at. Okay. light. Get my other light turned on so I can see better. I like to get this thing, you know, working 2-speed real smooth. Get that all set up well, so it's, you know, shifting nice and smoothly. And then replace the ESC motor with a sensor system. I picked up, as I said last night, a Hobby Wing 2200 Max 8 combo, but it's you know, it's an uncensored system, and I figured I'd be good with it because I know it's pretty smooth down low, but I'd like to get, you know, smooth and a little slow and no hogging. So I'm thinking I may end up having to what's the other two? May end up sending it back. Well, I will. I'll be taking it back and then going to a censored system. And I'm just unsure if I want to go with the Tekin RX4 rock system, or if I should go with a Castle and the Castle 1526, or even the a Holmes motor. But Holmes only has, I think, one motor right now with a 5mm shaft that I've seen, and that's the his 8-scale competition motor, and that's, I don't know if that's a crawler motor. It would probably work okay. If that was paired with the RX4, and I know with the RX4 I can swap it and make the RX4 be a crawler ESC, or, you know, in more standard mode rock racer ESC. I don't know if like the Castle, it has the ability to be set up on your variable knob or one of your aux buttons, or you can auxiliary between the two, because that would be sweet. I've used Castle before. They're decent systems. They're noisy. It gets annoying when you're working slow and, you know, working with slower speed. And that was one of the things that drove me nuts back in the day, is all those things just whine with the older crawler systems. So I ended up, you know, using Novaks because they were nice and quiet. I had a couple of Novak goat systems. And those were actually, for, at the time, a killer. Really good brushless crawler setup, in my opinion. Really good brushless crawler setup, in my opinion. But Novak's pretty much defunct. Sad that they weren't able to keep going after 2012 or 13. All right. I still got that. Oh yeah, I'm still gonna have to undo that. Okay, now I've got a couple of Hobby Wing Axe systems myself. Both 550 300 can setups. Those are in my two crawlers. One of them's a Red Cat Gen 8 Axe, the first generation Gen 8 Axe rig. And then I built an SSD Trail King kit through a HPAD Baja 4-wheel drive laser body on it. Didn't change the wheelbase at all, so you know that was on purpose. But that's got a 3300 ACT system in it. And I like them. They're nice systems for going slow. But they don't put out a lot. I mean, 3300, you'd think it would spin up pretty good, but it's got a 5mm shaft or 5mm output shaft, but they don't really crank out and spin up as good as you think they would for 3300 kVs, especially for a 550 3300 cam. And then because of the way the ACT system controls the power flow, it's not a setup that you can really, like, you're smashing the gas pedal and just going into that raw motor power. It's like it's got a governor on the gas pedal, or you pushing the gas pedal going up to full speed. You're not just smashing it down. And a lot of people don't like the ACT for that. And why I like that on the crawler when I'm actually just doing nothing but crawling and even trail running, for the Axial Ryft, I want something that's going to blast a little nut down right away when I need it. And the ACT system, I don't think is going to do that. Although Hobby Wings XR8 Plus, I've seen some people go on that route because they've got the XR8 Plus censored system in the, I think it's a 4368, slightly smaller version, 2290 kV, slightly smaller version than the 2200 non-censored setup. A little shorter, 68mm, so it goes in without meshing, but it's a $350 setup. For 350 bucks, I'll put the other 50 in it and just go with the Tekin setup. Now it's not quite $400, but I'm buying the Bluetooth system with it, and that's $65, so it's $230, and then $65 for the Bluetooth system. So you basically, or $330, $65 for the Bluetooth, is $189 and $140 for the motor, $189 on the ESC, $65 on the Bluetooth. So you're basically 400 bucks. The Exit Run, Hobby Wing, that's $350 for their censored system, $349 or $359, I think, is their combo price. Probably get a little cheaper on their website, but not much. And then the Castle setup, it looks like the Mamba Monster was only $160, unless I'm looking at the wrong one, which I might. That just may be the Mamba X, and I'm not talking the Monster 2. The Monster 2 is only $140, I think it is. The actual Castle Mamba Monster ESC 2 to 6, I think it's $160 on AMA. And then you got 110 on the motor, whether it's a Castle motor, basically 110, 140 for the 5mm shaft, actually, I think it is, or a Holmes Hobby motor of around the same price. That ends up getting you into the $300 range. So about $100 less than the Tekin setup and $50 than the Hobby Wing. So that's a couple of the ins and outs as far as the three most common motor choices. And the two most common is going to be ESCs is going to be a Castle. That's probably the top common piece. And then Tekin, besides the stock system, of course, but we're talking censored setups here. Tekin setup. And the Hobby Wing. I've seen quite a few people having the Hobby Wing 2200 that I bought. They've had to mod the back of the plate just a little bit to get it to fit. I don't want to really have to do any modding. Not that I have a problem doing it. I have no problem modding anything at any time. I don't want to use it like that. I'm going to have to mod this servo mount here a little bit, at least somewhat, so I can get that servo set a little lower, but you can't go too far lower because the radio box farthest back centermost skid plate mount goes right underneath the servo, And you go too low, you'll either have to lose that mount or turn your box around or do a couple of different things and try to work it that way. It's not exactly an easy solution there. Let me go ahead and just remove this. Well, I'm gonna tick through out anyways. Use that one. That it's too small. That's good. So I did see on Facebook, on the Ryft owners group, one of the folks on that group posted some pics, and he come up or did the same thing I talked about in my video last night for mounting the servo, how trimming the mount down a little bit, allowing the servo to set lower in the mount is going to be, you know, the one thing you're probably going to have to do with the Ryft Mini in there, because it's, you know, to get it a little bit lower, because the top of the servo isn't the same as the standard or the TR4 by Power Hobby or whoever it was. Because the standard servo and the Power Hobby servo, where the drive gear comes up, it sticks up like a 4 millimeters, 3 millimeters higher off the top of the servo case. The Ryft doesn't. It comes up like a millimeter or so, and then the drive gear's right there. So you don't have room underneath it. So you either got to try to raise up that piece with the adapters. Of course, if you get the adapter set I have from Axial coming, the one nice AXI 100109 or something like that. Anyways, little adapter kit. It's got micro horn, but I think they're going to be standard size servo micro horn adapters. I don't think they're going to be mini or micro servo horn adapters. But I went ahead and bought the Ryft servo horn as well, so I had that. And what the guy I seen on Facebook did is what I was thinking about and mentioned last night. Thin out your mounts a little bit. I think he went a little low. He took a little too much off, I think, and he dropped it down too much. He's going to have almost nothing to mount underneath his radio box, or he may not even be able to get it underneath there because he's so low. I'm going to go just the width of the servo top mount pieces themselves as far as where I'm going to take that off at. There we go. Now we can undo this the rest of the way. So yeah, there's a couple issues there that got to be dealt with. Especially if you're using the Ryft Micro 99, because it doesn't have that height. For anybody looking that sees the Ya Racing adapters for the micro servos, don't buy them. Don't waste your money unless you have the 109, you know, the stock Spectrum 109 servo, or the TP4 servo that has the standard size adapter. Now, I don't know, maybe this TP4 has the mini 25-2 spline, but I think it's the standard 25, you know, standard servo spline size diameter, because I don't, the Ya Racings, which are made for the AX-10-3, for the two same servos, the 109 servos for shifting and dig on the Axial SCX-10-3, do not, you know, that's what the Ya Racing made for, and they're not a mini spline. They're a mini servo, but the drive gear is a standard size servo. The Ryft has a mini size servo drive gear on it, so the shaft is a little smaller in diameter, and therefore a standard servo horn or such won't fit it, and that's a problem. All right, so I have to undo this. Little rubber piece here to kind of help keep dirt out of the tranny in the slot, so that will have to get glued in a little bit. It's just a servo washer that you put your bolt through. You know, when you mount your servos, standard set servos, one of the round ones, it slides right in that hole, but it doesn't like to stay in there. Doesn't really cause it. It moves in, slides on that thing pretty easy. It does cause maybe a little drag. That's not the problem going in and out of first gear. It's the tightness of the shifting mechanism and the shift cog, and the dog gears, and the guide shaft. I didn't think I was going to have a problem with it putting it together yesterday because everything seemed to be really smooth outside without the cover on. It did feel a little snug with the cover on, but I didn't think it was going to be a problem, but it is. It certainly is. Extra light on the subject. Help a little bit. Okay, I see what he's talking about there. Take this gear out here so I get a little better look. Okay, Joe from Axial Ryft I didn't do a video last night. Put the video out last night where he did a little grinding on the backside of the fork. I see where he says, or where people are talking about it's bottoming out, which is on the back side of the fork piece. And of course, I didn't look at that. Okay, and now that I'm looking at that, I can see, yes, it could actually go in a little farther because it was kind of clicking a little bit here and there. So, okay, I do have that little cork happening. I can see. Yes, taking that down will absolutely allow the dogs to catch a little better. they will actually go together, maybe another millimeter. So, looking at this, there are two ways to do this. What Joe did on his video last night is you look at the shift fork. You can see how it rises up there on the short shaft side, the side of the short shaft. You get it focused right in and then gave up, darn thing. Looked so good when it focused in. But anywho, ground mat, so it was pretty much flat across the back face of this fork, across this edge right here. Ground this so it was kind of flat. You can see it raises right there a little bit. Get it in there and make it focus. Still trying to focus too far back, damn thing. There we go. Come on. So the top side there, you know, with the short shaft sticking out, you can see how that raises. He flattened that out all the way across the back of the fork. Other folks that are doing this are talking about flattening, removing some stuff right, moving some of this stuff right here where these two pins slide in. Right there on that shelf. You can see the hole there, and then the other hole is right there in the back corner here. That's for the guide pin, thinning that out. Now, if you've got the Ryft aluminum case from Vitabond, you may not want to get in there and grind on that case. It's going to be a little tougher to deal with the case than it is plastic. Overdoing that with the fork as Joe did. With the stock case, it'd be easy to do, though I think I agree working and taking that metal off the fork would probably be a little wiser, because then if you adapt over to a metal case, you don't have to mod your metal case at that time. Although to replace the fork, you're going to have to, you know, buy the whole, it looks like at this point, the whole 2-speed setup, unless some aftermarket company produces the fork. It's a little more flat, a little more thin in this center shaft profile here. Okay, so now I see what exactly the issue is. I'm thinking this shaft here that it guides on, it's pretty smooth. I mean, that's got a good setup. It, you know, put a little twist on it, it smooths, you know, it still slides on that pretty good. I think I might try to polish this shaft. I was thinking about sanding it down a little bit. I think I'm just going to grab the polishing stuff. That will take off a few microns. But polishing will be even smoother, so when you get a little pinch, it's not going to bind so much. And it will slide on that shaft smoother. And you only want to do that, of course, not the whole shaft, because it still needs to go into the case, so you can only take it down. You got to leave like the bottom 1/4 inch of the shaft untouched. And you want a little rough on that 1/4 inch, bottom 1/4 inch of the shaft, so it slides in and out of the aluminum case or the stock plastic case pretty well. So I think those two things, thinning off the back side of this arm and polishing this guide shaft, those two parts I think will play big time help into getting the shifting mechanism to work much better coming in and out of first gear. So might just go to mute and whip out the Dremel here. No use you guys hearing all the grind. Or I could fire up some music that won't get the video taken down on YouTube, which there's a few options. Maybe that's what I'll do, because there's a couple songs that I haven't heard that I wouldn't mind listening to. So let me see, what's that? Grab this. I got a carbide bit wheel in here, but I think I'll actually just use that. I'm going to go get the other setup. Oh, there's a buffing wheel. It's actually still got grease on it. Another. My two wheels are still kind of lubed up. Probably won't even need my thing. Put that out. Take those out. Okay. Guess we can get this party started. I don't know if I can just turn this way down. I don't think I can. Yeah, I'll just mute. Trying to find a tune. Oh, hey, look. There's somebody working on our Axial Ryft 2-speed work. Tight going in and out of first gear. That one. I actually want to find one from the artist and not one of the reviews. So bear with me a moment. I'll find one. We're in here. We are in here until I do. I don't know. Keep sounding a little bit. Might be alright. I guess I do need both hands, and I haven't grown a third one yet. Of course, that one on got my jab, so I may never grow a third arm. I guess possibly. Okay, find another one. There we go. There's the artist. So let me move over to his stuff. I don't want to do that one yet. All right. Yeah. Let me take a look. Find this a straight one from him. Alright, let's hear this one. I haven't listened to this one yet. And I know YouTube can't block me for this because this artist gave us permission to use his music.
If he smoked it till he was 40. I'm a racist, I'm a sexist.
Grow up, YouTube.
I'm a clickbait rapper. I pay for all of my views.
And I'm not a rap guy.
And I'm always shedding tears because it's hard to be white. My girlfriend likes my raps. I hope I never get down to it. I hate to live hard, so I must be public. My Gucci is fake. I got this Louis on sale. I'm a snitch like Tekashi, so I will never see jail. I look just like the mumble rappers that everyone hates. I braid my hair like a girl and put tattoos on my face. Why do you keep talking about me? Everything's been said. All I hate you is you might end up there.
It's off by flattening it all out.
Okay, I'm calling you rap and horrible trash. I'm the worst rapper alive, and I'm
Just got this guy about a month ago with his song that was just released today. First one I heard was called Snowflake.
You could play with your friends. I'd be the SoundCloud rapper boss who fought at the end. Look, I'm so thirsty.
And I'm not a rap guy, but I don't mind this stuff.
I'm 30, but I look like I'm your grandfather's age. I'm like Tony Lucas when he had a baby with locks. The doctor dropped it on his head and said, "That's atomic bomb." I smell like MGK just ate a burger and farted. And my face that keeps look like I fell asleep at a party. Why do you keep talking about me? Everything's been said.
Just up there.
You might end up there.
Yeah, he's the tremble and just most of it off.
Retard loser, you're so gay, you're so corny, you're so lame, you're unhappy, so you call me names. In this sentence, seventh grade, angry, sad, and full of hate, take it out on me, 'cause you're in pain. They call me a loser, say I suck, tell me I'm ugly, that's the one. You're so stupid, are you drunk? Say to my face and I'll keep your fight. They call me a loser, say I suck, tell me I'm ugly, that's the one. You're so stupid, are you drunk? Say to my face and I'll keep your fight. They call me a loser, say I I suck. Tell me I'm ugly, well, so what? You're so stupid, are you drunk? Say to my face that I'll kick your butt. You call me a loser, say I suck. Tell me I'm ugly, well, so what? You're so stupid, are you drunk? Say to my face that I'll kick your butt. Kick your butt.
If you don't know, that was Tom McDonald. And yes, YouTube, you can go look at his YouTube video where he himself gave his information and, you know, permission to use the song. So I'd rather use that because he's got good stuff, and I haven't heard that one. So I figured, hey, we'll do a couple new things. Modify my RC and listen to some Tom McDonald and maybe review a little bit. Because that's not what this is. I'll get into a review if anybody's interested. Alright, almost there. It's actually getting to the point where I'm starting to hit the fork. So I'm really close to where I need to be. Trying to get a good flat surface across the whole back so it can get flat flush on the back side of the cage and actually work a little bit better. Okay. Let's see what we get here. Ooh, excuse me. I'm guessing. Sometimes goes in a little bit of ways. You ain't got a lot there. Not a lot in that spot. I mean, listen to me rhyme. Not a lot in this spot. Not a lot of material left there too. Of the backside, so you can't go any deeper with your holes or anything for your guides and your shift fork. Turn it down a little bit. And then nice little bonus of the day is had to go down to the store and I had to detour because they're doing some work on a bridge a couple miles down. And on my detour, I found another chunk of road that's been freshly paved. Maybe within the last 3-4 months, it's just got the temporary, spacer lines. It doesn't even have the 50-foot center lines yet. It's out in the country. The nice thing about that is it's on a chunk of road that probably only 10 people live on, so it's not going to get a lot of traffic. It's really flat, pretty, brand new asphalt, blacktop. Most pretty flat. There's a few ups and downs as far as, little crests and hills that kind of comes up and goes over a little crest in the hill or something. It's out in the farmlands. There we go, you little sucker. Blood sucking mosquitoes. But yeah, it's a really nice 1 mile chunk. Few areas where I can kind of pull off and park and not really be on the road, so to speak, with my vehicle. And then be able to start testing tuning my no preps. I've got 3.5 rigs I need to get tuned up. I should have them done, but I've been waiting for a body, and we'll see what's going to go on with that. But in the meantime, I'm probably going to go ahead and order the Pro Line Ford body, get the new Ford Mustang 67 Fastback. That looks like a nice, it looks like they did a really good job on it. And I see the guy, individual, that is doing this split bumper, like a 71 split bumper Camaro. I think he took pre-orders a couple weeks ago. And I think he's getting ready to take pre-orders for round 2 of the Camaro bodies. That's where I got in on the other body I'm waiting for, is round 2 of the pre-order, and everybody's still waiting for the round 2 to get here, and obviously hurdles and hiccups. But I know the guy is working on it. I'm not exactly sure where he's at with it, so we'll see. And put the other wheel on here and hit it with that just a little bit, because I think that will do a little bit more of a polish job, because I had a little finer polishing. Okay. No. A little bit different. A lot of people have yanked out that just that guide pin. They went without it, and they seem to be doing pretty good with that. All right, let's listen to this one because I haven't heard this one either.
Please don't make a song on race. Please don't make a song on guns. Please don't rap about girls in chains. Please don't rap about doing drugs. Please don't sell out. Please don't fail us. Please don't kill yourself and blame us. Please don't blow up. Please get better. Please stay underground forever. Please don't let the money change you. Please be good with what you made. Please remain who you were when we found you halfway in your grave. Are you depressed again? Write about it. Please explain. Because when you feel like dying, that just helps me through my day. Look. I ain't changing for a buck, I ain't changing for a bang, I ain't changing nothing up, this is who the f I am. If you f with me, I hope that y'all enjoy it. Beware about the fake fans trying to destroy it, yeah. I ain't switching it up, I am the man that I was. Way before I grew up, and everyone fell in love. Never once gave up, been doing me from the jump, and I will never become the man that you wish I was. You ain't with my mind, yeah. You ain't with my mind. You ain't with my mind, yeah. You ain't the Jesus of my pride. Let's see though. Please stop using auto-tune, because you sound great, I love your voice. Please don't drink to kill the pain, you sobered up and made that choice. Please don't stop responding to my comments if you took it wrong. Please don't ever come down off that pedestal I put you on. Please don't contradict yourself and make songs with those famous rappers. Please just barely pay your rent, I'll buy a t-shirt autograph. And please don't ever change your style or cut your hair or shift your side. Do that and I'll leave you. Please just stay the same until you die. Look, I ain't changing for a buck, I ain't changing for a bang, I ain't changing nothing up. This is who the f I am. If you f with me, I hope that y'all enjoy it. Beware about the fake fans trying to destroy it, yeah. I ain't switching it up, I am the man that I was. Way before I grew up, and everyone fell in love. Never once gave up, been doing me from the jump, and I will never become the man that you wish I was. You ain't with my mind, yeah. You ain't with my mind. You ain't with my mind, yeah. You ain't the Jesus of my pride. Let's see though. Please don't talk about politics. Please don't talk about God. Please don't get no more tattoos and think you've done a lot. Please don't disagree with me. I only want the best for you. I only want what I agree with. I don't want the rest of you. Please take shots at mumble rappers. Love it when you make those records. Please don't talk about mental health. I have never had depression. I only like your songs and when I listen I relate. The rest of all your music is just rapping that I really hate. Look, I ain't changing for a buck. I ain't changing for a bang. I ain't changing nothing up. This is who the f I am. If you f with me, I hope that y'all enjoy it. Beware about the fake fans trying to destroy it, yeah. I ain't switching it up, I am the man that I was. Way before I grew up, and everyone fell in love. Never once gave up, been doing me from the jump, and I will never become the man that you wish I was. You ain't with my mind, yeah. You ain't with my mind. You ain't with my mind, yeah. You ain't the Jesus of my pride. Let's see though. If y'all are triggered, bro, what you listen for? I don't get it, bro. Acting invincible. Y'all are dog. I ain't switching, bro. Nothing's different, no. If you can't stand the heat, then get the f up out that kitchen, bro. I ain't switching it up. I am the man that I was. Way before I blew up, and everyone fell in love. Never once gave up. Been doing me from the jump, and I will never become the man that you wish I was. You ain't with my mind, yeah. You ain't with my mind. You ain't with my mind, yeah. You ain't the Jesus of my pride. Let's see though. If y'all are triggered, bro, what you listen for? I don't get it, bro. Acting invincible. Y'all are dog. I ain't switching, bro. Nothing's different, no. If you can't stand that heat, then get the f up out that kitchen, bro.
Okay. That one I think was done like November 2019. So a year and a half ago he released that on his, as a kind of a reply to the quote unquote fan base. It does shift a little smoother. And having been a live playing musician who, was out there every pretty much weekend doing what needed to be done on the grind to make the music happen, I can relate. How can I relate? Get out of there. This is even worse. Peel that sucker out and see how she does. Okay, just maybe too much. Wonder. Let me go grab those bits that I do have and see if I got a slightly smaller bit that I can cut off and check. I'm not sure that I do. A lot of my smaller bits have broke. Nope, I'm not gonna have one in there, I don't think. Nope, nope. Okay. Sounds like polishing it made it worse. I'm trying to polish it made it worse. Let's take a look at what else he's got going on here. I haven't heard that one.
Everybody knows someone who's sick. 40% will get cancer. Only half's gonna live. Your mom and your dad and your sister stand inside a room. Someone won't survive it. Do you hope it isn't you? I swear that cancer has a cure, but they're refusing to make it. They've done like 40 years of research, 90 billion in donations. We've been running for the cure and wearing ribbons for ages. Why are people still going through radiation? It's crazy. $100 billion industry, they can't afford to end it, and nobody wants to die. Our only option is to spend it. We give anything to stick around for just another second. Give a fortune to the doctors who promise they can extend it. Profits are astronomical. The hospitals and the clinics are filling coffins with dollars. It's awful, let's just admit it. We're all human, we'll keep fighting because it's how we survive. But it's scary because we don't know where we'll go when we die. Nothing matters if you don't have your health. All the money in the world doesn't help. The good might go to heaven and the bad might go to hell. But no one wants to leave here, you can tell. And cancer touches everyone, it's in our genetics. And our world's become so toxic, it's all carcinogenic. We polluted the water, the air, the food we're ingesting is full of hormones and poison. Our population's infected. They sell us cigarettes and liquor, built a business on addictions. We've been paying them to kill ourselves. We're dying to keep living. It's the system, it's a prison. We keep trying to beat it. We get cancer from keeping all of our demons a secret. And our insurance don't cover the things we need to defeat it. And even if it does, then we might die from the treatment. Our best defense is living like we do not know what cancer is. Fight it if you have it and pray that there's something after this. You won't know how to be brave to choose to fight when you're afraid. And you can experience strength to struggle to carry the weight. And you won't know why you're afraid till you look the devil in his face. And you don't know what you can take till you realize you need a break. You love and know you're strong, so then all your fire. Days are hard, the nights are long.
That's it. Yeah, I get that message. Well done. Nicely, well composed, good music, strong message. Want to, push forward, don't give up. And when you're fighting cancer, that is a absolute must. Just no way around it. Run home. That's a lot better without it. Yep, that shift pin, boy, that really, thought it was running smooth yesterday. But this thing is so wide, the outer case where the shifter slides through, that leaves it tracking pretty darn straight right through there. We're gonna go with that. Flatten off the fork a tad, let that engage a little farther. Remove the shift pin. I was hoping just polishing it would help, but it wasn't enough. It was still real sticky. Still real sticky. Okay. Now, I've heard this song a few dozen times, but it's actually pretty good.
I'm the rapper that these other rappers jealous of. I made more off CDs than rappers are selling drugs. True story. Every single aspect independent. I got texts from presidents and major labels I ain't read yet. Told my manager I'd knock him out. He was like the homie, and I fired him. If you're watching this, I'm sorry, dog. Au revoir. I don't need nobody's help. It's me and Nova by ourselves. Come here, babe. This is the entire team, nobody else. I conceptualize, produce, and write like every record. Me and Nova work the hooks, and they're mixed and mastered by Evan. This is homegrown. Shout out all the rappers who have grown stones. I'ma die rich while your casket full of broke bones. I ain't gonna respond to all your disses. Look, I get it. Your videos get no views. You say my name and people click it, but I'm different. You need clout and you're desperate to make a living. But my bank account already full. I counted 7 digits like, y'all attack me with disses. Attack all the critics. My lack of predictions surpass all the limits. The whacker the rapper, the more is angry by the fact that I'm winning. I'm stacking the millions. It's tragic to witness. I can't do it children. Hey, no playlist, no pay clicks, no fake. Rappers call me gay cause my braids big. Yo, man, go crazy, so wasted. Front row at my show, I'm her favorite. They basically hate that I'm made.
Front row at the show, I'm your favorite. Who do you think comes referring to? Referring to rappers for a show at the front row.
I made the business decisions. I overcame the addictions, lived in the streets, got a big to kick it with killers and strippers, but still my vision was different. I bought a mic, started spitting, produced the beats, and I mixed it. I turned my hand into a fist and flipped the bird for the system. I prayed I finish my mission and keep my kids consistent. I fixed the parts that were missing and switched the gas and the pistons. Of mathematics and physics, I had to travel the distance. I had to add some ambition and then some time my suspicions. I wanted castles and riches, headed for castles for prisons. I found classes like we're in cannabis prescriptions. Rappers wanna sneak this all over my Facebook, always trying to tweet. I ain't gonna keep this a secret. My marketing genius, the algorithm triggered by exploiting your weakness. And y'all can call me stupid and gimmicks. I call me rich. 1 million monthly listens on Spotify. I'm about to drop a couple $1 million on the drip, $250,000 on a whip. I just said I'm on my brick. And first of all, I heard it all. I can write a perfect song. I Google the net worth of rappers hating and I don't respond. Middle finger from a private jet. I don't give a single flight. Every single person I have met, the person on Twitter they come. Yo, if rappers want to beef, I got the roast pan. Put them in the dirt like a UFO crash. Double time rappers, man, I murder it with slow raps. All they do is go fast. Turn them to some ghosts with the most back. Slow back. Pull them triggers quickly with no blowback. Packing under pressure like a cold glass. No fans, jealous that I rose fast. Y'all are on the road back. Look at your career, it's a joke, man. Promise that I won't laugh. Say you got the smoke, can't afford gas. Oh man, so sad. You record your album in a closet full of clothes with a notepad. Strong on the outside, muscles with no bone mass. Let's look at me for a second, man. I was deep in depression, making me weak and pathetic. I thought I needed a blessing. It leads to depression. I feel the effects of repeating the lessons, but only lead to me, and that's a lethal injection. And I was chasing the dragon, but no medieval invention. I go to sleep and dream my life would be for me if I catch it. I let my demons possess me till I woke up in the wreckage to realize that I was sort of on the theater of blessings. It's like my fever magnetic. The street was feeling connected. I couldn't seem to reach the sky no matter how far I'm stretching. And I was beating to death and screaming for help for a second. Now I put everything I bleed into completing my records. I can't compete with my past, but I'm still seeking the relics. And I believe with every breath I breathe, the sequel is better. No fear, surrender, I'm clear. The pressure, the fears I remember will never let me forget. I was near to the devil. I never claimed to be holy, but I got angels protection. I got a barbed wire halo and devil horns I don't mention. Yeah, the Lord is my savior, but revenge is so tempting. I don't expect to see heaven. If that's the case, I respect it. Cause it's hard to cage the beast, but it's walking up the broken lines. I'm crushing everything I see like every can of soda. You sitting on your knees like a grandma who's on the block. Put a bullet in your head like words you only spoke to God. Rowing through an ocean all alone inside an open box. Frozen from the blowing snow and soaking through my only socks. I'll notice me and toast the heat, so now the water's boiling hot. You hope I broke them, dope and poke them back and turned to solid rock. Hey, I ain't talking to you losers like you know the cops. I'm reaching that ain't bad for a kid who couldn't hold a job. Budget brand rappers, all that Gucci fake I own a lot. You can't afford the way I live. You trying to control the cost. Oh, I'm in solo mode. Your promo wanna make the drop. Artists that you promo gonna call the photo like your bot. Try to put me in the dirt. I'll thrive like you were growing pot. Prototypes are hurt. Y'all need work. Let me open shop. Y'all don't understand me like a burner ball. It's toe to top. I never see my POV like you don't know the GoPro on. Make sure that the drone is on the slow mo. So when y'all get shot, the footage captures every single moment while your corpse is rocked. Shoot it all, broken on, touch it up in Photoshop. Upload it to YouTube with a donate button for your mom. So large, y'all can never reach me with those broken arms. Untouchable as alcoholic wallets at an open bar. Breakable Da Vinci Code embedded in like those my songs. Gang is full of animals. You think my homies know it's art? Guys are full of broken art components. I'm blowing apart my logo on the stove. I let it smolder till they know the mark. Y'all were finding Nemo. I composed a team of total sharks. Hid inside the reef and chiseled teeth till they were over sharp. Y'all fishy rappers went to sleep to dream of coral season stars. We silently and violently reminded y'all the ocean's dark. Brody, I really feel sorry for your Tony bars. Maybe you'll improve and this is setting up your story arc. I am more like Iron Man. You are more like Tony Stark. You're human. I'm a robo suit equipped with guns and poison darts. Choking y'all to death like I am Homer home alone with Bart. I wish wood on every glowing star. Chorus hard. High performance parts from a pro garage. All I see is smoke and sparks every time your motor starts. What more you got in store for me? Your death threats are ghost stories. And what's next gonna be painful? Gravestones.
Yeah, not a big rap fan. The boy puts out some fucking fire lines. Fire lines. Okay, so do one more thing here and try to make this thing work a little better. Actually, do this. Okay. Now we have a smaller watcher. We have a tiny one in here. There. That one will sit in there. Oh, yama. Well, over there. Slid off. Where the hell did it go? Stepped it on. Go ahead and do that. Not be able to. Just oh, that moves even smoother. Might fit in there even better, sit in there even better. Let's see. I'm gonna dip that mosquito. No mosquito there. That's a lot smoother now without that center shaft. So as you see the thickness of this case, obviously where the shaft goes through the case, it's not that thick, but it's at least as thick from this spot right here at the cup to the inside edge of this brace area. So that thing's, you know, 6 millimeters, maybe 7, 8 millimeters wide that the shaft has to go through, which actually keeps that shaft pretty square. And then, of course, once it's set right, it'll get right there and goes to neutral. And then we'll drop into drive once you got it far enough out. That's right. Into second gear. So I think that'll work. We'll go ahead and I'm going to move some of these things. And what I'm going to do is power it up like I did last night right here. Set my most of my tools aside because I don't need them here in my way. Now I'm going to go back here. There. These two here. And there. Five. 5. Okay. Now, okay, it should be set in neutral right now. Okay, so let me go down to my EPAs. Turn these down some. 15%. Make sure they're weak and not in there. Go back down to the sub trim. Okay, now let's see. Alright, so let me go back here. Let me go right to 0. Okay, let me, well, at least the servo ain't hot now. Getting hot right away anyways. Back that out a little bit more. Slop in that spot. got almost no movement in there. Okay, I gotta switch that. Exit, exit. Right, I gotta go to EPAs. Up them a little bit. Go to 30. Should take it right up to 50%. You get this centered right. Okay. You got some actual movement. All right, battery up there. And spot between those two. Now, let's see that. Okay. Take one more the other way. good. It's coming out of first nice and smooth now. Okay. 2 hours. Trying to get these EPAs and center points set right. Probably guard that out a little bit too much. Could have been a little smaller with it. But there's second. Neutral. First. Second. Neutral. First. Now it should be popping back into neutral, and it finally gets there a little off. So let me exit back down to sub trim here. Well, that seems to be a lot better than it was. So I'm going to call that doable. So all I did was take out the supporting shaft, as you can see here. I'll leave that out like so many other did. There's enough, support on the case itself. And if you got the Vitavinyl aluminum case, or I'm assuming Trio will have one, or Vanquish will have one. Somebody else besides Vitavinyl will put out a case. It'll most likely have a good amount of support there. If anybody is doing that, you may want to make the noted modifications that some of us folks are doing, whether it's on the fork itself or in the back of the case, and clearancing off your 2 flats that the shifting fork and guide fork shafts set in. You thin that out a millimeter, maybe 1.5 millimeters, just so that shaft can sit in there, not really shaft set it, so the fork can push farther into the case. It will mesh that first gear system a little bit better. Otherwise, anybody making the fork, make the back side of the fork a little flatter all the way across the back, so it can engage excuse me, can't engage the dog bones fully in first gear. So I'm going to call that, and we're going to kill it for the night, because it's 12:30 and I'm kind of beat, even though it's up all night. Didn't go to sleep till like 9, and then only slept for a couple hours. Was up for an hour, lay down again for like an hour and a half. Finally got up rolling around 1, but half the day was shit and gone because I couldn't get to sleep last night. So I'm gonna try by 2 or 2:30 tonight. Get my arse in bed. With any luck, I'll be able to. So yeah, it looks like the smart way to go. What Joe went over, sent out that fork on the back side of the fork, so it can push the dog into, like, you know, dog hog into first gear more. And then remove the secondary support shaft here. Take this, you know, support shaft for the shifting mechanism out, and that really smooths it up. It moves a lot nicer. The whole setup just is a lot smoother. Yesterday when I got done, if you watch my video, you'll see, you know, my second video late last night, that it was really rough in and out of first gear. And I thought it might be okay, but it just wasn't going to do it. So, oh, pardon me. I thought I'd try it. I was going to leave it locked in, you know, first gear today and just do a bunch of first gear running, but the servo was getting so darn warm yesterday. I figured, well, I better play for a little bit and then come out and figure out, you know, stop, and then later on today get into it after dinner and everything else is done and figure out what's going on. So that's pretty much what I did here. Well, you guys kind of see how I, oh, pardon me, worked it all together and took it apart, got it back together, reverse what I did. If you want me to finish it, I'll be finishing it up probably tomorrow, but I'm going to wait until my parts come in. So I'll probably spend tomorrow morning outside, get some stuff done. I'll take an hour or two in the early afternoon and try to set some of the crawler area up for rock racing as well. So, all right, you all have a good night. Thanks for hanging. Hit that like, share, subscribe. Later.